I'm going to be starting something a little bit different today. And if there's one thing I've learned in the last couple of weeks, it's that no matter how unprepared you are, you just have to start. You just gotta bite the bullet and start doing whatever it is that you wanted to do. Because you are never going to feel fully prepared. And you're always going to be a little nervous. And if you just make yourself start, then it will get a little easier from there. It will at least get easier to make yourself do it. So we're going to be reading the Bible a chapter at a time. And I might have things to say sometimes. I might not. Just depends. And first I'll start off by saying I am a Christian. I believe in God. I believe in the Trinity, 3 in 1, God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. I believe that you can only get to heaven by believing in God and telling him so and asking him to forgive your sins. And or by being a Jew. What if you're not a practicing Jew? But you're still God's chosen people. That's a tough question. I don't have an answer for that. Anyway, in general, that's what I believe. With the Bible, as with pretty much anything. Oh no, quiet. With the Bible, as with pretty much anything, I'm sure there will be portions that require a lens held up to them, a grain of salt taken with them, but especially with the Old Testament. But in general, overall, I also believe in the Bible. Okay, so with all that said, we shall start with Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, Let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the 4th day. And God said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle, and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful, and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed, which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the morning, and the evening, and the morning were the sixth day. And there is a lot to say about this chapter, because there is so much vitriol sometimes, debate sometimes. Let me just start by saying, I believe. I always have. I've heard plenty of people question, but there is plenty of reason to believe, in my opinion. So, let's say, okay, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So, first of all, all creation that exists now, it starts with this. But before all of this, the earth, our planet, and the beginnings of the universe, and the water on the earth all existed. They were here, possibly created by God for an experimental world before this one. Possibly, I don't know, just infinite? No. Now, see, what was I going to say? So let's say, the Big Bang. That is generally how most scientists think that the universe started to become. And I recently read about this. It's not everybody's favorite theory, but technically it is the best theory, even though apparently it also has flaws. I'm sure everything's going to have flaws. But anyway, so the Big Bang. That is able to be dated going by some sort of ripple effect. The scientists have been able to find evidence of it and date it, however many millions of years ago. I can never remember. Anyway, what sort of physical representation in the universe might there be other than the Big Bang than a God, the God, something completely outside of the universe, speaking it into being, saying, let it be so, and suddenly it's so. And because God is God, because God is all-knowing, all-powerful, with just a few words, he can put into motion, put into being something so complex as the universe. Because he does not dwell within the universe, he is outside of it. So anyway, I'm thinking that was the real beginning of all of this, not Genesis chapter 1. That was long before this, let's say, because in the beginning of Genesis chapter 1, there was already the earth, just without form, and void, meaning void of life, because there was water. Obviously, darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So, void of life, absolutely no life in those waters, but there were waters. And the earth itself existed, though without form. And I'm thinking that doesn't mean that it wasn't a spherical-like planet. Without form could just be that there was no geography. There was no topography? Okay. Anyway. God said, let there be light, and there was light. Now this I'm curious about. What was the light like before day 4? What was the light like before day 4 when he divided the day from the night? That's interesting. Anyway. Okay, first of all, let me just also say, all of this, obviously, is super simplified. Because the people back in the day did not need all these complex, detailed explanations for things that the people today seem to demand, because I don't know, it just wasn't like that, and God interacted with his people back then. It was a whole different world. Anyway, it doesn't have to be complex. The description of creation does not have to be some deep scientific journey through what it was like, because that's where faith comes in. And you can sort of extrapolate from the descriptions. You can combine what you see in the descriptions with what you know about the natural world. And you can still see that there aren't really contradictions, such as all of the fruit and the seeds. They bear seed after their own kind. Anyway, let's go back up here. Oh yeah, another thing that is interesting, it says so the evening and the morning were the first day, and the evening and the morning were the second day, and the evening and the morning were the third day. And we had there was evening and morning making different days, even before he divided the lights into the daylight, the sun, and the lesser light, the nighttime, the moon, which we know, obviously we know, is the reflection of the sun, but it doesn't have to say that here, because at this time, there was no way of knowing that. And the moon is the biggest light in the sky at night. That's what people would have known. Discovering things like the moon reflecting the sun's light, it's not any kind of disapproval. It's just us. It's us learning more about God and His creation. It's getting to see glimpses behind the curtain, getting to see how He made things work. Anywho, where was I? Oh yeah, so the evening and the morning were the first day. Before, there was a sun and a moon, but He did divide the light from the darkness, and the light He called day, and the darkness He called night. So He must have set the earth in motion and spinning. He must have set the earth spinning on that first day so that it would be in the light or in the dark, depending. Because He was just working. Yes, He did the whole earth, but remember that all the continents used to be connected, and they used to be connected to each other. So there was a smaller area of land that He was working with. And besides that, He didn't make the land until the next day. Anyway, but there was only one specific place, one area where He was working. So that area, if He set the earth into its spin on that first day, then the area where He was working would at one point be in the daylight and at one point be in the darkness. So yeah, I guess I can see how the evening and the morning could have been the first day. I've never thought about that before. One thing that I've heard some people say is that they don't believe that the Bible means that creation literally happened in 7 days, because God is all powerful. He could take as long or as little time as He wants. But yeah, He can take as little time as He wants. And each day literally says there was an evening and a morning. That's what we have for each day. The evening and the morning was the first day. The evening and the morning were the second day. The evening and the morning were the third day, etc. Maybe when He was working, the earth was spinning slower. But technically, it was just 1 day per day. So that's something that you can't know for sure. Was it our regular 24-hour day, or was the earth spinning slower? Who knows? Maybe science knows if the earth used to spin slower. I could look that up, but maybe later. Anyway. The firmament. So there's more to come much later in Genesis on the waters above the firmament. We shall see why the waters are no longer above the firmament. And the firmament, that's an odd thing. I always thought of the firmament just in the before this, I always thought of the firmament just in the context of our planet. However, I think the firmament must be higher. Perhaps the atmosphere. No. I'm going to sneeze. Where was the... let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. There we go. And those were the stars, obviously. Anyway, so forever, I've always thought of the firmament as being, let's say, the sky, the blue sky that we see, and then the waters above the firmament surrounding the earth. However, that's obviously not true because the stars are in the firmament. So the firmament includes the universe, maybe not the entire universe, but it includes, let's say, our galaxy. Oh yeah, because the universe has been expanding all this time. The universe would have been smaller then. I guess not much smaller because the time between this and now is only a matter of thousands of years, not millions. Unless, of course, the Earth was spinning slower. Then, who knows? Okay, so, firmament. Not the sky. Well, yes, the sky, but also outside of the atmosphere where the stars are. And then the waters were even farther outside of that. Big. See, God had a very big place that he was working on. But he was still outside of it because he is God. It's what he made. He did not make everything around him. He was outside of it. He made it so he could see everything. Let it divide the waters from the waters. So the firmament is heaven. Not, in this case, the heaven where you go when you die and where the angels live. This is the heavens, the skies. He made the dry land. And like I said before, all of the continents used to be connected. So he really did make the land, not the lands. He made one, and it separated later. I wonder, is the separation of the continents, is that dated? I wonder how long ago that is. And have creationists thought of that? Because if it's longer ago than the 10,000, 12,000 years that creationists say, then that should convince them to extend a little more. And with God, all things are possible. So I think it's a little silly to say for certain that just by reading, just by doing the math of all the years of whatever people's lives in the Bible, because who knows if time worked the same way. With God, all things are possible. He could very easily change his own natural laws. C.S. Lewis would disagree, I think. Because miracles. Anyway, I'm getting off topic. See, there's a lot to talk about. That's one reason I've been putting this off, because I knew it was going to take a really long time and that I was going to get lost and probably end up sounding like a loony. I know, I probably sound like a loon. Whatever. Anyway, God saw that it was good. And science abides by the trees and the herbs and the fruits, blah, 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 yielding seeds after their own kind. And that's one thing that I like about it, is that, yes, we have so many like hybrid type of plants because God's creation is so perfect in its design that we can figure out the rules and how to, for lack of a better term, hack the rules to make the plants abide by what we want. We can combine them, we can genetically engineer them, because God gave us dominion over them. He made his creation to follow perfect rules, and he gave us the dominion and the intelligence to figure out what those rules are and bend them to our will. And that's what we've done. God saw that it was good. Lights in the firmament of heaven to divide. I'll write about that. He made the stars also. Blah, 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 blah. God said that the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind, and God saw that it was good. It's interesting that whales. Were whales mammals? No, whales aren't mammals. So I wonder if he made the dolphins. Dolphins are mammals. Did he make dolphins on the 5th day or on the 6th day, I wonder? I guess it was the 5th day, since they come from the waters. God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful, and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and that fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the 5th day. And let the earth bring forth a living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind, and it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind, and God saw that it was good. And here I'm going to pause and bringing back what I was saying about the plants, same thing with the animals. I believe in evolution. Obviously, I don't believe that mankind necessarily came from apes. However, obviously, there are much older versions of mankind whose skeletons have been found. Nobody ever said that the people that God made looked like we look now. But anyway, yes, evolution in animals. I do not believe that one species. No. I do not believe that, like, cats can't evolve into dogs. I don't know if that is still a thing. Not cats and dogs specifically, but like, say, okay, cows and whales. Apparently, a long time ago, some people thought that cows might have evolved into whales, or like there's also some relationship between horses and hippos, maybe? Anyway, obviously, I'm not well researched, but all I'm saying is God didn't have to create every different kind of species of cat or dog or ape or bug that we have now, because all he had to do was create the first ones, a male and female, and nature is going to take over from there because he made the natural laws, the way that they are able to reproduce, the way that natural selection can happen. He didn't have to say, let there be so and so many different kinds of species and let them be able to be naturally selected based on their traits. He didn't have to say all that. He just had to create them the way that they were. He had to make the perfect blueprints for them, and they follow their blueprint. And evolve as naturally happens. And that's what happened. The earth being full, yes, God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. We have dominion. We are at the top. Because God gave us dominion. God created all of that, and then he gave it all to us to take care of, not to let them walk all over us. PETA. Anyway, let us make man in our image, after our likeness. And that obviously could mean that God has a head and a body and 2 arms and 2 legs and 2 eyes and a nose and a mouth and 2 ears. It could also be about a soul. We have God's likeness because God gave us souls, spirits. I believe that's what C.S. Lewis believed. Anyway, God created man in his own image, and the image of God created he him, male and female, created he them. See, in the next chapter, it's going to go in depth about how female was created and how male was created. But this is the introduction to let you know, yes, he created male and female in his own image. God blessed them and said, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it. That means have kids and keep your population up and actively have your dominion over everything on the earth. And people don't really seem to be keeping that up. Seems like it's become more virtuous to let nature take over some areas. It's become more virtuous to not have dominion. But that's obviously not true. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. In the which is the fruit of it, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Yes, man was just supposed to eat fruit and vegetables at this time. That changes, but at this time, that was all we needed to survive. Obviously, God had to our composition got changed. God didn't reach down and be like, boop, you need meat now. But anyway, our composition, our needs changed later on. But at this point, we were just supposed to eat the fruits and the vegetables. And the animals also were only going to eat the green herb, grass, and so forth. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. That is the end of chapter 1. And how long? Oh my goodness. 35 minutes. See, like I said, that's why I was putting this off, because I knew, especially that chapter 1, and probably chapter 2, and probably a lot of Genesis, I was going to have a lot to say. Anyway, if anybody watches this and has any appreciation whatsoever for my content, I'm trying to do a variety. You might consider subscribing, commenting. Tell me how crazy I sound. Tell me how brainwashed I sound. That's all. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.